Remember this. It's not about what you know. It's not about who you know, but it's always about who likes you in the workplace. You can have a full understanding of a job and a full understanding of what the job entails and why you are there to do a job. Yes, some people think, well, I know all the answers. I know the full gamut of what the book says. I'm a textbook expert. So they still sometimes won't get the job and they wonder why. Well, again, it's not about what you know. And it's not always about who you know. Some people think if I hobnob, if I somehow impress the right people and name drop and connect and have a familiarity with the people who can make me or break me in the organization, then that's going to be a clear path for my success. That's not always the case. It's not about what you know. You can know all the answers. You can have the textbook memorized. It's not about who you know. You may know the CEO, the COO, the CFO of the company and still not get the job and be able to sustain the job, because that CEO, that COO, that CFO, they may know you and may not necessarily want you. So it's always about who likes you. I know that sounds trite. It sounds superficial, but it speaks to one thing, not aptitude. It speaks to your attitude. It speaks to your knowledge of how to treat people. You see, what goes hand in hand with people who like you in the workplace is people who trust you in the workplace. Trust and likability go hand in hand. There's a book that I'm going to encourage you to read. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it's by Dale Carnegie. It was written actually in 1937. This is a reprint of that original book that was written in 1937. Again, it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Over 30 million copies sold. You may very well have a copy or have heard this book. You may or may not necessarily be a fan of Dale Carnegie, but one thing is for sure, that the Creator uses all kinds of people to deliver all kinds of positive messages that we can all glean and garner something from and be helped. Now, in the book, he talks about 12 different principles that speak to how you can win friends. And it's so funny when you say win friends as opposed to lose friends. Winning friends, sometimes we on Facebook, we seek out to send a friend request to someone and they send it back and say that they're your friend. Well, that speaks a lot to the character of the individual that you're seeking to be friends with and your character. And you have to make that connection. So how to win friends and influence people. Influence is about leadership. John C. Maxwell, who is a great theologian and motivational speaker and leadership guru in the last 30 years, he has done a lot with that whole ideology of leadership. And so what he says is leadership is nothing more than influence, nothing more, nothing less than how you can influence people to follow you. So this is what Dale Carnegie says in the book about the 12 principles of how to win people and win friends and influence people. Number one, the only way to get the best of the argument is to avoid it. Avoid conflict if you can. It doesn't mean that you sweep it under the rug or you skirt around it, but it means don't necessarily seek to be argumentative, particularly in the workplace. Number two, show respect for other person's opinion. Never say you're wrong. It's a bad thing to invalidate how a person feels, and this blanket response to them is that they're wrong. From their perspective, they're not wrong. So you have to seek to see how the other person's perspective is validated for them. Okay. Number 3 is, if you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Yes, if you find yourself to be the person with the wrong opinion or the wrong emotion and the wrong information, admit that. It's one thing about human nature. If you say you're wrong from your head and you're sorry from your heart, and if a person doesn't have compassion for your being contrite enough to say that, then the problem lies with them. Okay, so Dale Carnegie says, if you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Number 4, begin in a friendly way. You win friends, first of all, by being friendly. If you show yourself friendly, human nature is that they will show themselves friendly to you. I noticed when I walk through Walmart or any place, and if I'm smiling, for some reason, people smile back, unless they're just having a real terrible day. It's a message of benevolence, and people naturally react to it. So yeah, show yourself friendly, and people will show themselves friendly to you, and that is the gateway to making a friend. Number 5, get the other person's saying yes, yes immediately. If you can get a person to agree with you with a nodding of their head, and you're finding some common ground by giving them an opportunity to agree with you, yes, yes, that is going to go a long way in terms of winning friends and influencing people. Number 6, the other person, let the other person do a great deal of talking. Listen, when somebody's talking to you, that's the reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. When that person is engaging you, do your best to let them have the podium, metaphorically speaking. Let them speak to you, and you listen. And when you listen more than you talk, you become wiser and more appealable to that person. That person will come back to you every time because they know that you're a good listener, an active listener. Let that individual, whatever it is that they're saying to you on that particular occasion or incident, let that be, in that instant, be the most intriguing thing that you've heard all day. And it will pay off in dividends. Number 7, let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. Give people credit. Give people credit where credit is due. If a person comes to you with an idea, let them know that you are wanting them to get full credit for that idea. And that means a lot to the individual, because people are innovative and creative, and they want to be recognized as such. And what it does is spurs them to do more. Number 8, try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. Yeah. Always show empathy. Put yourself in that person's shoes. If you're not able to show empathy, then it may be a problem, a innate problem with your personality. And I don't know if you know this, but narcissistic people are incapable of empathy. They can't see things from the other person's perspective. So if that's something that you have, then you need to maybe do an assessment about yourself. And so number 9 is this is different than empathy. It's sympathy. It says be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires, similar to being empathic, which is be sympathetic. That's number 9. Number 10, appeal to the nobler motives. Yes, nobility always has its place in conversations and relationships. When you are seeking to take the high ground, not the low ground, be noble. Be noble. Yeah, appear to the person in terms of how they see you, and appeal to the person in terms of how they feel about you, to be noble. Yeah, don't be a person who is so abstinent and stubborn that your nobility that you may very well have is not coming through. Don't be that person. Being a stubborn individual is never a sign of nobility. Number 11 is dramatize your ideas. Yeah, be demonstrative. Show not just in your words, but in your actions. Make it dramatic in terms of how it is that you are showing yourself to that person as being wanting to be their friend. Yes, it's not enough just to say it. You have to actually do it. That your talk match your walk. And 12 is, he says, throw down a challenge. Yeah, throw down a challenge. Sometimes you have to challenge yourself and challenge the individual to take that relationship and solidify it so that it will become a reality. Yeah, and sometimes that means being challenging to the individual. So yes, this is Gregory. I hope this is something that has helped you today. It's not about what you know. It's not about who you know, but it's about who likes you. Likability is so important in relationships because we have such limited time. This video is unedited. It's 11 minutes and 15 seconds long. So I hope that this has been 11 minutes well spent for your day. Thank you so much for listening.